Neil, we're live.
We're live in this
Yes.
special secret spot.
It's pretty secret. Nobody's ever going to know where we are today, Neil.
Someone did come in here from the yacht harbor, found it. Came in here with his bongo, started playing. Anyway, I'm here today with, he's returning to the show. Legendary skateboarder, TC?
Absolutely.
Legendary? I got two legendary people right here, because this gentleman right here is also a dear friend. Legendary Mr. Emmanuel Guzman is in the house.
E-man. Woo!
For the repeat. Is this the third time?
Yes, yeah.
This is the third time.
Yes.
And my dear friend, who I've known now for God knows how long, going back to my surf coaching days at Harbor High, where Henry Michelle was the vice principal, who taught me into coaching a surf team.
How'd you guys do that year?
We kicked ass.
Yeah?
We went down to state championships. And did you come on that trip? No.
I didn't.
Oh my God!
I heard all about it though. I'll save those details for later.
So you won the you won the championship that
We
year?
had
Spank SoCal High?
Yeah, we spanked them. We spanked everybody.
Nice.
All the boys, Shane Pearson and the boys, you know, and the girls were good too.
Yeah, your son was probably #1 seed longboarder.
He didn't do it. Did he do it?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah. We'll see.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Secret weapon. You brought your kid on board? Ringer?
Yeah. But we had a lot of fun down there in Southern California. Oh my God. Yeah. Especially when one of the moms slept at the door, the bottom of the door, so her daughter couldn't get out. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Quinn was there?
No.
Oh.
No. Shane Pearson and the two, Shane and who else?
Cody.
Cody stole my truck.
Well, you're saying that a mom actually slept at the front door
She slept
to keep the daughter in the hotel room?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
You guys didn't win. You were killing it.
Yeah, we killed it. Anyway, that's a too long introduction today. Anyway, we're here today because we're going to talk about this program that Emmanuel's been talking about for.
Did you introduce Henry yet, though, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Henry Michelle.
Okay.
A program they talked about for probably I think a year and a half, maybe 2 years. He's been talking about doing this program about kids and skateboarding, and COVID obviously, you know, it's like an anchor that stopped the whole thing. But they picked the anchor up, and they're moving forward. I'm going to find out today what's going on.
You
want to
take
start,
it?
Henry?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and start.
Okay, put that close to you. And speak up.
Okay, so about a year ago, I would say.
Well, maybe. Well, time's
I know,
gone on about a year and a half.
About a year and a half ago, I was approached by a good friend of ours, Brian Anderson. He's a counselor at SoCal High, and I believe he was doing some work with Emmanuel's wife, who was a counselor there at the time, and somehow they connected, and we're just talking about opportunities for students who normally would not do well in school, and skateboarding came up, and next thing I know, Brian and Emmanuel are in my office. I am the coordinator of career technical education at the county office in Santa Cruz. So we were talking about the opportunity for a class. So when we first thought of skateboarding class, you know, people kind of roll their eyes and go, you know, yeah, that's going to go very well.
Right.
You know, but you know, we kept at it. We had a bunch of meetings in regards to what that class would look like, and we were gonna try to model it with one of our other classes that we had, was a bike technology class.
Right.
So that was the birth stages of what we were talking about, and through several meetings, I think we were meeting, you know, twice a month, we were able to develop a full curriculum for a year-long course, 2 semesters, that would be like a regular high school skateboarding class for students in Santa Cruz. And Eman did a lot of research. One of the programs we were looking at was a class or a program in the Netherlands, or
Well, that's kind of where the whole thing was based off of. The original conception of the whole skateboard class that I had sort of brought to the table was based off of a school called Briggeritz Gymnasium in Malmo, Sweden. And that school has been around for 10 plus years now. Around the time that their Vice documentary and sort of YouTube exposure was brought to the mainstream media and skateboarding, they had basically been the first of their kind at the time to have a successful skateboarding high school that was privately owned and operated, but also covered core curriculum and things that were like either governmentally or, you know, in our case, state mandated.
Right.
And so I had known about this school, but hadn't really realized that that might be a possible calling of my own in skateboarding and in life, that I value both education and the you know, discipline of skateboarding. So it just so happened that our friend, like you were saying, Brian Anderson, and not the pro skateboarder Brian Anderson, there's a pro skateboarder, famous one named Brian Anderson, and it's pretty funny, coincidentally, they have the same name, both love skating. But our friend Brian, that I'm referring to, was sort of the binding glue. I had ran into him at Derby and mentioned this idea of this private high school and maybe even doing something like that myself one day as either a future plan or just sort of like a way to continue on my local legacy as somebody who's just had a lot of love and support from the community. You know, I think that my first thought of what I would want to do is like initially giving back. And so Brian and Henry, who at the time was the you know, vice superintendent of CTE, we all got kind of brought together and sort of brainstormed this idea and the potential of doing something legitimately and realistically.
Right.
And through their resources and through my knowledge and experience of like the industry, we literally, you know, started to formulate a feasible plan for local youth to actually have like access to.
Right. Did this all change when you had your? How old's your boy now?
He's 3.
Would this all change for you when you, after you had both of your son? Did you think about it more because of you now had a child in your hands?
Absolutely. I think that the original kind of motivation behind this idea was from me thinking of what to do for my next future move, because as somebody who's dedicated more than half their life to like the professional side of skateboarding, not only is my body taking a lot of wear and tear, but mentally I'm sort of ready to progress and to, you know, metamorphosize and see where my level of recognition and success and abilities can bring me, like in this other realm of giving back, more or less.
Right.
And I don't want to do it in the way that we've mentioned as far as teaching kids how to better their skills solely. I think that anybody that loves skateboarding has a lot more to offer than just that. I think that they have other passions and interests that brought them to skateboarding in the first place, and that even if they don't realize it at the time, that within education there's a lot of things that appeal to a lot of individuals if you just show them the path. And I think that that's what this program was really gonna try and do, was just to help those kids that might not have like the answers to their questions, but this might actually give them those like lesser known answers that they didn't even realize.
Can I ask you a question, TC?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put it on the camera because it's important.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, so
okay, ask me a question.
So you as owning a skateboard shop and around kids that are involved with skateboarding, how I want to talk about the history of him. How do they view and how do your kids?
Show this thing.
You employees at your store view Emmanuel Guzman. Can you talk about how you do too?
That's a great question.
I got it.
The answer is simple because
I can hold it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The answer that makes it so simple is that E-Man is like the most successful skateboarder in town. And it's still frothing. And the kids see that he's still frothing skateboard. It's not out to pasture yet. Emmanuel's been involved in the community, and thank you for always being involved in the community. Every demo he's there. His relationship with Santa Cruz Skateboards is incredible.
He's been there for how long?
How long now, Emmanuel?
10th anniversary last year, right?
I've been pro for 15 years, and they first sponsored me in 2001, so I've been there for almost 20 years.
And he skates with reckless abandon. I mean, faster than anybody, you know, and that's always a skill that any skateboarder would look up to. think what's really interesting about what you're doing, and Henry, you as well, is that kids want to be in the skateboard industry because they love skateboarding. And to some of them, they see it only as being a professional athlete, not the avenue of getting into the industry, which people buy houses and raise families and have much more involvement than they would as an athlete. And by you guys embracing the academic aspect of this, that's what a business wants to see. They want to see that you have the passion and you've been involved in this industry, but they also want you to have the skills to move into an industry type situation. So I would love to see, as this program advances, like the GPAs of people going in and the GPAs of people coming out, and to get some history, like maybe with the bike, Henry, you can explain what you do with the bikes. If you have that kind of history with that, if you're going to sort of mirror the package of that, instead you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, so all of our, one of the components of our CTA class is an advisory committee, which basically is industry people, such as yourself, TC, that would be part of the advisory committee for this program. And one thing that I admire about Emmanuel is that when we put together this advisory committee, I think it was, what is it, 15
Yeah, we
people?
needed 15 members minimum, and I kind of needed to go out and find them.
So we had 15. If you don't mind just naming a few who was at the meeting that one day.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess first and foremost, the local support from the local retail skate shops, like you know, TC and Bill Ackerman and Pacific Wave, Skateworks. All the local shops basically sent out either somebody in upper management or as a representative to come and be at this meeting to sort of hear and to give their final approval as to whether or not they were going to commit to it. But to be honest, it blew me away as to the level of expert kind of involvement we got. We had people ranging from owners of skateboard shops with 40-year plus you know, career success story to creative writers for Apple. We literally have the assistant creative writer at Apple who used to be a longtime editor at Slap Magazine, Mark Whiteley, and a good friend of mine. But to just reach out to people of that magnitude and for them to be on board really resonated as to the kind of volume of what it was we were trying to do and the types of people that were backing it. And so Cindy Busenhart, we have some heavy hitters, and that was necessary in order to get potential future investors attention. I think that it all started with the committee, and every single member of our committee, which was up to 20 plus members when we finally had our first board of advisor meeting, it was just astounding, kind of like the support, and also, like I said, the magnitude of expertise, individual